the state of California versus Activision Blizzard. This lawsuit was long and contained a multitude of allegations, but central to its theme was a frat boy culture, equal pay disputes, and workplace harassment. The lawsuit painted a worrying picture for investors, and the Activision Blizzard stock very quickly priced in that speculation, but by and large, this was, initially at least, a lawsuit that could have gone either way. Immediately after this lawsuit was unveiled, still in July of 2021, Activision Blizzard fires back their corporate responses. These responses came in multiple separate parts as a disjointed, confused, and ultimately besieged company tried to find its legs. One response was from J. Allen Brack, the CEO of Blizzard at the time, one of the publisher's most prominent subsidiary development companies. Another came from Fran Townsend, formerly of the Bush-era political administration, and the company's presiding compliance officer, again at the time. And another response entirely came from CEO Bobby Kotick. These responses were wildly different in tone and content. One effectively called the lawsuits patently absurd, Fran Townsend. Another took the form of emotional dismay, J. Allen Brack. And lastly, the open letter by CEO Bobby Kotick took the form of even-toned corporate PR damage control. Very quickly after these statements hit the world of social media, employees of the company penned an open letter admonishing the statements, primarily those made by Fran Townsend, which were particularly disjointed and aggressive. I believe the words used were abhorrent and disgusting, condemning them as ineffectual and unacceptable. Moving on, July of 2021, about a month later, these allegations, specifically the corporate response to them, most notably, again, Fran Townsend, with her dismissal and lack of empathy. A month later, these allegations boiled over into an employee walkout, which served as an extension of the now many thousand signature-long, strong open letter decrying the company's response. Things were getting worse. Now, I should say that this particular walkout was viewed by many as a largely fruitless endeavor. It's hard to trace any sort of direct response back to this particular event, but from an optics perspective, also from a development perspective, this walkout had ramifications. World of Warcraft was hit with a pause in its development. Numerous other games were subjected to various delays or upheavals, and the ripple effects of this particular lawsuit just kept on spreading. One of the lesser-known effects that resulted came internally from Ubisoft, a separate publisher, where employees had begun to draw comparisons between the two companies as a result of Ubisoft's own workplace culture. Regardless, things were just getting started. After the lawsuit came the press. Journalists, activists, and bloggers began to dig in, as they always do, and the coverage then began to spiral. On July 28th of 2021, an article by Kotaku hits the website, which contains explosive allegations about employee culture at conventions, specifically a group of high-level developers that coined the term Cosby Suite in reference to their own hotel room. It was never actually fully made clear what level of knowledge these employees had regarding the Cosby allegations at the time. This behavior dated back to 2013 and surrounding years, but in the court of public opinion, these revelations were gasoline on the fire. Before going further, this video is brought to you by Skillshare. Skillshare is a massive online learning community that's built by and for all of its users. One of the best things, by far, is that there are no ads in any of the classes. Ads pay my bills, of course, with the sponsorship, obviously, but with Skillshare, you aren't going to be served ads in the middle of classes. You can go at your own pace without interruption, which, in my opinion, is very important for any learning experience. Honestly, I fancy myself to be a bit of a creative writing expert. The past 4 years have given me a pretty large ego in that respect, but the thing about Skillshare is that it's made for all brackets of skill. You can be a novice, amateur, or professional, and learn from other people in your field. For myself, a creative writing class called Going Viral, Write, Film, and Make Content People Share by Matt Belisai was particularly useful because, yes, going viral is actually a specific aspiration of almost any YouTube creator. When you join, you can even try out a Skillshare live class, which adds a new dynamic layer to the online learning experience. The first 1,000 of my subscribers, to click the link down below in the description, will get a 1-month completely free trial of Skillshare, so you can start exploring right now today. Again, the link down below will give the first 1,000 users a 1-month free trial so they can explore the site right now. Big thank you to Skillshare for sponsoring the channel. Flash forward and we arrive in August of 2021. The Rosen law firm, on behalf of certain investors, opens a lawsuit against Activision Blizzard that pertains to their alleged mishandling of information, thereby inflating the stock price as a result. This is the second lawsuit the company now had to contend with, piled on top of the first, which had been brought by an official government agency. In the very same month, Activision Blizzard employees ramped up their own efforts and formed a coalition of sorts. That coalition was called A Better ABK Workers Alliance, and one of their first official acts was to directly criticize the law firm that had been brought on by Activision Blizzard to conduct a third-party audit, which was one of the efforts to smooth things over by the company. That law firm was Wilmer Hale, which had a long history of anti-collective action and union busting. Not only that, there were conflict of interest claims since Wilmer Hale had previously worked with Activision Blizzard and was not necessarily approaching this from a clean slate third-party perspective. Pressure was mounting undeniably, but in the grand scheme of 2021, it was just the start. Soon after all this, still in August as well, CEO of Blizzard J. Allen Brack steps down. Directly as a result of these ongoing disasters, it seems very likely, but no one knows for sure. He is replaced in the interim by two other executives, Mike Ybarra and Jen O'Neill. Almost simultaneously, as reported by Bloomberg at the time, Jesse Meschuk, the head of public relations, also stepped down, leading to questions about what exactly was happening on an internal level at this company. Smaller, but still relevant, as reported by Axios, Activision Blizzard was also being denounced at the time by SOC Investment Group, which has hardline stances on ethical business, and the group was now calling on Activision to make numerous workplace changes. Towards the end of August 2021, absolute disaster. The state of California expanded its existing lawsuit, alleging that Activision Blizzard had quite literally engaged in evidence tampering by shredding documents and preventing access.